if you are still at school and you're watching this show, first of all, thank you. You give me hope for the future. Particularly hope that what I'm about to say can still be fixed or made good. But second, I've got to say to you, sorry. Sorry. Because boy, have we let you down. The people of your parents' generation, your grandparents' generation, what have we left you? And I tell you, we had decades of growth in this country. We had more money pouring in Canberra, and we spent the lot. We are going to leave you with nothing but debt, record debt, that you'll have to pay off. Debt made worse by all these lockdowns. And we're also going to leave you with bigger threats to our national security. Bigger than your parents have ever seen, than I've ever seen. You look at China now, threatening war. But we're also going to leave you with a West that in hundreds of years has not been this weak. I'll show you some of that tonight. Debt and danger. Oh, and have we equipped you with the talent and the drive and the confidence to deal with all that? I'm not so sure. You see, we instead persuaded you the planet is burning and you have got no future.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
And with this global warming religion that so transfixed us, we persuaded you that we had to close, blow up even the coal-fired power generators that gave this country the cheap electricity it still needs for our industries, for our jobs. And we persuaded you that we have to close the coal mines that have helped make us so rich and which you may now have to do without. And we meanwhile wrecked the way that you're taught, so that education standards today for 15-year-olds are 1 year behind what they were 2 decades ago. Fact. And now we've cost students months of proper education by shutting schools for up to half of the past year in this pandemic. A pandemic and a reaction to it that's only taught you to be timid, to hide in your house, that kind of people. So we're not just going to leave you poorer, relatively, but also less educated. And not just that, we've meanwhile robbed you of pride in this country's past, in its traditions and its symbols, so that we now have athletes of the Olympics who have competed under an Aboriginal flag instead. And we've also taught you to despise the churches that used to teach us to be kind and to look after each other. And look now, how rude we are to each other, how we scream rather than listen and talk, discuss and reach a compromise. Worst of all, we taught you that the truth, no such thing anymore, no objective truth. Truth is now simply what someone says it is because it suits them. A man becomes a woman, up becomes down, whatever. And if you dare to speak a truth that does not suit them, you will be shut down, or worse. But let us not get too gloomy, because you are watching, and that gives me hope, because we're never beaten until we give up. And I think you won't. And tonight I'll also show you you can fight back, should fight back. In fact, let me get on with the show by telling you some great news. I mean, it's so good, this news, so good. That's why you won't hear it on the ABC. You won't hear it from our politicians. Because this is news that would give you confidence. And these people want you to be scared. Instead, they want you to think that the planet is burning, that you have no hope, so give up your freedoms, your car even. Last year, you were told, yet again, by these experts, the media, that the Great Barrier Reef really was being killed off by global warming. Just last October, for instance, the ABC, the national broadcaster, claimed that reef coral had halved thanks to bleaching from the warmer seas caused by climate change, according to some report. Earlier last year, the ABC even claimed that the reef had been bleached, killed, from north to south for the first time. And ABC videos pushed this scary story into schools to terrify the children.
But you know, ghost reefs are a thing. They're what you call the dead remains of once thriving coral reefs that can be found around the world. And there are worries that soon the Great Barrier Reef will be one of them. Scientists say the reef is about to face a major bleaching event.
And of course, the global warming priestess Greta Thunberg that so many adults have created jumped in to tell her millions of worshippers that yes, more than half our reef was gone. Be scared, tremble for our future. Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't have to. You shouldn't. Because guess what? The Australian Institute of Marine Science has now finished its latest survey of what actually has happened at the reef and says, whoops, in the 35 years of its monitoring, the reef that we've been told for decades has been dying has instead shown an ability to recover. In fact, surveys this year recorded low coral mortality, low coral death, from that 2020 bleaching event that the ABC told us had wiped out half the reef. Even better, and these are graphics from this report, the northern part of the reef is almost back to normal levels of coral cover. The southern part of the reef is above average. And best of all, the central bit of the reef that most tourists visit is almost at record levels of coral cover. Now, I say it again. You cannot trust the ABC on global warming. You cannot trust many scientists on global warming. They get paid to scare you. And you cannot trust politicians, almost none of whom want to admit that the reef is fine. They don't dare say it, don't dare tell you the truth. And you most certainly cannot trust Greta Thunberg. Follow the science, they tell us. Well, I've just shown you the science. And here's the thing. Here's the kicker. If our universities cannot even admit that Professor Bruce Pascoe is a fake Aborigine, telling fake history when the evidence is clear that he's a liar, crystal clear, what chance that they'll now admit that the global warming scare they've promoted is a beat-up? So fight back. Hold these people and these organisations to account. We can still win. We just need to try.